Rock and roll.
Are you gonna take it from me?
Rock and roll.
Welcome to the Cam and Joe Show. My name is Joe Steele with my good friend Cameron Elkins.
What's going on, buddy? How are you, man?
Oh man, another day full of fun and adventure.
Let's go.
It's kind of weird shooting on a day we not normally shoot.
Yeah, shooting on a Wednesday.
I'm like,
A
what
little
is
different.
happening?
A little different.
So I am super excited. I'm gonna take this one.
Take it away.
So I'm excited to announce we've got our good friend Brian Davis on the show. Man, I'm so happy you're here. You were my favorite boss, by the way.
Oh, well,
Like I love it.
I don't know if many people can say that, but
You know what I mean? So when I was younger,
He's
and
not going to give you any bonus pay or overtime now. I mean,
No,
you don't work there anymore.
I don't work
Just
there
saying.
anymore, yeah.
Got
well,
it.
I can do that now. There you go.
Yes.
Literally under the table.
There you go.
So I remember when I was young and dumb, I worked with employees that were young and dumb, and this guy managed to herd cats and keep us focused. And dude, he did it gracefully, elegantly, always door open,
Yes, sir.
respected so much. Like, it was like, you got an issue? Come talk to me. Let's take care of it. And he, dude, proactively. You doing that helped me learn how to do that as well. So
I love it.
all I got to say is I'm so happy you're here.
Oh, man, I'm so happy
Same.
to be here. I'm so proud of both of y'all, man. This is great.
I appreciate you being here as well, man. In the same way that Joe would say that you're one of his favorite, mentors and bosses in that regard, you are absolutely, and I mean this when I say this, you are absolutely one of the people that I gravitate to every Sunday at church. Like if I don't get a Brian Davis hug, I
love them
leave like,
camp
yeah,
hugs.
it was a good sermon. It was great worship. I didn't get a Brian hug. I just it's like it's something. I leave just my cup is almost full. Almost get that Brian hug. You're like, set the tone for the day.
There you go. You understand.
Set the tone for the day.
Man, I listen for them. Come on, so I know where you at out there.
Oh, man,
Hey,
so good.
I'm listening for you.
Come on,
That's
come
it.
on.
You got it.
Awesome.
So I'm blessed to know you as much as I do.
Same here.
And I know that Joe would say the same. I'm excited I'm excited on this platform for more people to get to know Brian Davis, to get to know you as a father, as a husband, as a community member, all things that you do with aerial photography, with Be Exxtra, the shoe, the give back, the push. You are as involved as can be, and I love that. I love to be able to highlight that. So for, I mean, this is going to be a refresher for Joe and I to see how plugged in you are. But for those who don't know, enlighten us. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your backstory, and what it's all about.
I'm Brian Davis, as y'all said before, and I love you two guys, by the way.
Love you too, bud.
That's it. I'm originally from Lansing, Michigan, so no snow out here unless you want it.
Yeah.
So it's 35 degrees here. I'm cool with that. We can wear shorts because it's freezing back home. Matter of fact, I think the power's out because it's so cold back home. Been out here almost 19 years now, so I started at the hospital. That's what got me out here. I was recruited to come to Ride Out at the time, which is a vintage Ride Out now. So that's how I got my plants out here in California. Like I said, I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I'm a basketball coach. I coach out in Calusa, boys varsity out there, and started Be Exxtra, the nonprofit. And that's what you got me in a nutshell, sir.
That's amazing, man. So so take us through some of that. So basketball.
Yes.
You want to be a coach. What was the passion behind that? Like, what was like, you know what, man, I'm excited. I want to get behind that.
Well, my dad coached me and my brothers and
nice.
everybody in the neighborhood, and I saw the effect that it had on kids today. They still call him coach.
Yeah.
And,
Yep, that's how it goes.
They still, and it just never leaves. And just seeing that impact on what he did for my brothers and I, and also the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I want to get a piece of that. So started some of that back in Michigan. First starting out coaching adults in men leagues, that didn't work. That's not for me. The egos and all of that, I can't handle that side of it. So started in the freshman coach, and then just trying to work my way up. Started at Yuba City. I was freshman, then JV coach, and then became the varsity coach over there. And then made the jump down Highway 20 over to Calusa County, and it's been great. The community embraced me. I embraced them. I see fellas coming through, but I'm kind of the old man in the game. I'm seeing kids that almost starting to coach other kids that they haven't had now. So, yeah, I'm getting old. So
Starting to see the circle.
From the coaching side,
Yes,
and
sir.
this is both from me growing up and having coaches that I can't call them anything other than coach. As soon as I see Coach Strickland, coach.
Yeah.
As soon as I see any coach that I've ever had, same with Coach Peach from years and years and years back. You see somebody that has that impact, it's instantly coach, and I love that. And the relation in my mind between that that father figure or parental figure, that responsibility as a coach is huge. Yeah. And I mean, speak to that. Speak to the parallels between coaching and parenting in your eyes.
It's the same. And, you know, I know with my older daughters, it was like, you're always with the kids, you're always with your boys. And, you know, I wanted them to play basketball, and that didn't quite work out well. And
you can lead a horse to water.
Correct. They're like, we ain't having that. And I respect that, you know, how to go through it. And then when you throw young men in there, we know the struggles that are out there.
Sure.
We know the struggles that our kids deal with day in and day out. And being in a kid's life is just important. You know, they have parents and that kind of thing. But as a coach, I want to know somebody else is rooting for them.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And it could be good. It could be bad. You know, we've had our own struggles personally. So I'm able to be transparent enough to say, hey, I struggle with this. I've done this. So you're not alone. So that's what I kind of, you know, my biggest saying is there's more than basketball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
absolutely.
It's bigger than basketball.
Life.
Yeah. And within those, you know, in the court, that's one thing. But when we step off the court, we have something to portray. So if I can flow that through basketball, that works for me. So fatherhood, coaching, mentorship, everything that I do is 360. So that'll come into play here in a minute. So
I love that.
Well, that all makes sense too, because I mean, what's the one thing that people are crying out for? Structure. They're asking for, please give me structure. Please give me something. I've been teaching a class of kids, and I have set structure. This is what we're doing.
Yes, sir.
This is what I want. This is how it is. This is when it's due by. And if you don't get it done, I'm not going to give you a grade. It's pass or fail. You either put the effort in, you pass. And people are like, well, you can't talk to kids like that. They don't receive it that way. It's like, no, they don't receive it from you because you never set those boundaries.
Yeah.
My kids love it when I go, we're not doing that. They go, okay. And they don't, there's no bitter, there's no anger, there's no, they're like, okay, Dad said no, we're done.
Yeah.
And I think that we crave that as a society.
We do.
That's why coaches are such a big deal, man. That's why it's like, you know, I remember I hate, you know, look at me now, but I hate physical activity. There's so much, man, where I get out there and I'm like, I hate the burn, but I know it's good for me. And I remember a coach be like, you could do better. You're right, coach. So every time I'm on the treadmill, every time I'm doing push-ups, every time I'm doing something, I hear that coach in the back of my head. Come on, man, pick up your knees.
And it doesn't matter how many years it's been. You have that. You'll go back to that structure, and you'll know that it's a good thing. And then honestly, I mean, you like the passion that you're putting in is through the language of basketball.
Yeah.
But that just speaks so many languages beyond basketball.
Absolutely.
It goes into
that's
life. It goes into exactly. And they may not know it, but what they're learning is life lessons. Just presented in a basketball format. And also, I mean, gosh, just from the ability, people that are, and I'll say this, people that play in a team sports setting, I feel, become better, well-rounded individuals in society. Truly.
Say it all the time.
Because when you learn to be able to work on a team, and it's not just about you.
Absolutely.
You will fit into any system better.
Absolutely.
And that is not at all a negative thing. So attaboy, man. That's awesome. I love that you're pouring in. How many years now have you been coaching with Calusa?
So I'm in my 11th season with Calusa right now.
Right on.
In the middle. We actually have a game tonight. So
there you go.
Hey,
that's
awesome,
it. So
man.
my mind is rolling.
Is it Hawks? Red Hawks?
Red Hawks, baby.
Red Hawks. Let's go Red Hawks.
You got it.
Tell me a little bit more about so your dad was coaching originally. So give us the rundown of like your dad as a coach. I can imagine having a dad as a coach. And I now I'm saying that I'm coaching my son's T-ball. Mind you, he's 4.
Right.
But having a dad as a coach, what was that dynamic like when like you play you're playing for him? He is your coach. You don't do well in a game, and now you have to sit across from him at the dinner table.
Right.
Is it like, Dad, can I have another role? And you're like, if you made those free throws, I'll give you another role.
Right.
Like, what does that look like?
Well, you know, and I might be a little bit biased, but my dad's the man. You know, when it comes to that, he was able to separate it perfectly. Where
wonderful.
Dad was one thing, coach was another thing.
Yeah.
And I tell my son Malachi now, I'm like, I can't coach you, son. Why can't? No. But I don't have those Manuel Davis skills where I can create that difference between it. But he was able to break it down where it's on the court. This is why X, Y, and Z. And that helped me when he wasn't coaching me anymore.
Sure.
And when I was gone on to other coaches and that type of thing, now we can have those conversations.
Oh, absolutely.
If you don't do X, Y, and Z, this is what I'm talking about. Because there was a few times like, well, I don't feel like going to practice. Well, that's probably why you're not going to play. Sure. Okay. Well, all right, I got it. So
that's probably why
you're not going to play. So,
I'll see you practice.
That's it. And it wasn't, and I love how he did it. It was, I'm like, hey, let me go to another school. Nobody did that back then. Sure. So I can do X, Y, Z. Like, no, you're going to do it here.
Yeah.
And kind of knock it out that way. And I appreciate that. And that was the best thing for me because that's life. Am I right?
Absolutely.
If we want to jump ship and do whatever, and, folks love to blame the coach when they're wrong and all that. So you got to have big shoulders when it comes to that. But it's on you. If you're the athlete and what's in turn when you're the man, it's on you. So you had to get it figured out. My dad had that figured out. And so I'm still trying to get to that level, but he's the GOAT. I can't compare to that.
I love that. Shout out to Structure. Shout out to Brian's dad.
Yes, sir.
How many siblings did you have growing up?
I had two other siblings, two brothers. So no girls in the house, just boys. So
where were you in the lineup?
I'm number one, baby.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
how did your two younger brothers? What was that paradigm like with dad as a coach? Were they athletes? Were they non-athletes? Because I know plenty of people growing up, their dad or their parents are so pro sports that they want nothing to do with them because of that.
Correct.
Right? What is that dynamic?
Actually, again, the separation was perfect. I'm older by 5 years, I think. And then my brothers are 11 months apart, but we all played sports. We all were athletic in high school and earlier on beforehand, but it just worked. Sometimes I think it's unfair because it just worked so well.
Yeah.
My mom was able to keep it together. Y'all do your thing.
Yeah.
And then come home. And I just remember my dad taking us to practice and picking everybody up, when you can ride in the back of a pickup. And it wasn't illegal.
Yep.
So that was my highlight of going to practice and getting it set. So
I love that.
Yeah. So
amazing.
I know I did, but I know my brother's like, I'm the man. My dad is the pickup guy.
I like that.
That just shows how well structure. Because it didn't create a vacuum.
Correct.
Many, leadership wise, it's like, how can you let people operate how they're supposed to operate? And everyone has their gifts and operates the right way, but you don't walk in the room and create a vacuum that sucks that out where they feel like they're starving to get that.
Correct.
And that just shows props right there to your dad. That's incredible. That's a difficult balance to do.
And he definitely showed that, sometimes you can overcoach and that type of thing where the coach is the focus and the players aren't. But it's totally different. But now, like I said, some of my friends that I went to school with and he coached, it's still coach or house coach.
How's coach doing?
That's it. It's the same thing. So, like I said, I try to strive to that, and I'm nowhere near what he did to us, but he was able to keep that separate, and we use that in our everyday life. I know my brothers and I use in our everyday life as well.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Having, growing up as an athlete, and I've alluded to this, but growing up as an athlete, coaches in my eyes were always so friggin' important.
Yeah.
I grew up with extremely involved parents. My dad, be vulnerable for a minute, my dad was never huge on the athletic side. Okay. I think from the time I started playing basketball and soccer in second, third grade, all the way through playing collegiate rugby at Sac State, I think altogether, my dad maybe made it to 4 or 5 games. And that's with... There's a basketball and a soccer season, football when I was younger, swimming in there, rugby in college, and that I had that on my shoulder, right? I think that was one of the things that created a competitive drive in me
to push you, right?
To push me, right? Because I remember when I was in probably junior high, maybe a freshman in high school, I remember having the conversation with myself, hey, if my dad isn't at that game, he's going to read about it in the paper. I'm going to do well enough for him to hear about it. So maybe he'll ask about it. And this is no knock to my dad because my dad was hugely involved. He was just never involved in the athletic side.
Sure.
And my brothers and I, we grew up very different. My oldest brother's very big into theater, film, acting. My brother Chris is the musician. Touch any instrument, can instrumentally play. My thing was athletics, right? So we always had our own thing. and my dad would do his best to be as involved as he could. My folks split up at a very young age, so I always just had this admiration for that. And we are men, and we want to be coached and led up and brought up by men, and we hold coaches and these men in our lives in such a high to a high standard.
Right. Yep.
I always just gravitated to that coach relationship, and there were games that I remember specifically. We were at Grace Christian. I was probably in third or fourth grade.
Love it. And
wrapped up a game, and I watched two of my buddies run over to their dad, and their dad like give him a big hug, like "good job." And my stepdad was there. My stepdad Ron has always been huge proponent of athletics growing up, and my mom. But I remember just the image of watching two of my buddies run up to their dads, and my physical biological father not being there, that stung. And that probably in fourth or fifth grade, that little switch turned on, like, okay, I know what I have to do to get the attention. I know what I have to do to get the kudos, and I know what I have to do to get the attaboys from that coach if I'm not getting it from my father. That I say all that to give you that much more props, because young men, young women as well, but young men specifically need that positive male role model that tells them you are valued, you are worth it. This is why we work hard.
Right.
Yep.
And when they see that through you, there's nothing more important.
Right. And going back to my dad again, he's, I'm a grandfather, and he's a great grandfather. So I'm not in Michigan, and I got grandkids. He's still at the games, filling in where I'm at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's giving me the reports of Kari did this, and he took this down, or sending me videos here of where CJ was on that.
Man,
and
awesome.
he's filling in there. He's sitting in the same seats where he sat for my brothers and I. So when I say to go, I just say it keeps on going.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
he can just simply fill in the gaps from where I'm not there, personally, like you said, that means something, but it gets fed back to me in a way, just like
I love that.
That's just how it is.
That's so good, man.
I love that.
Yeah.
So your nonprofit.
Yes.
Hit me with that, man.
So
We could stay on basketball all day. We both played. I mean, I
already feel like we're gonna need Brian on like 3 or 4 times.
The gym is right out there. We can go get some shots.
We can hoop, man.
We can go hoop right out
I'll
there.
cheerlead with one hand.
I got a bad knee, so you're offset. I have bad knees, so you're offset.
Let's go.
So the nonprofit, actually, all my stuff in life kind of, when I always say 360, it always blends together.
Sure.
And that's where this came from. And actually, the Be Extra came from kind of a negative, so to speak, where I'm extra. So I love to do the extra stuff. I love, if it sparkles, give it to me. If it's glitter, I want it. If it shines, I'm in. If it's bigger, the better, I want it.
Sure.
Crank it up to 12.
You got it. Yeah, give it whatever more, you know. So if it's, whatever.
If somebody doesn't notice it when they walk into the room, then it did it wrong.
Correct.
It needs to be in your face right there.
Correct. And I think people sometimes get that confused because they think it's about me, but it's not.
No, not at all.
It's really a bigger thing. So go back to coaching. I want my fellas to have the best. I want my kids to have the best. And I want them to earn it and get it there. So that's where Be Extra comes in. It started from a negative. It's and kind of funny. My friends use it too. It's
Somebody's saying you're being so extra.
You got it. It's like B. That's what they call
it.
B, you're extra. B,
Boom.
you're so extra. Always doing the most.
Was born right there.
You got it. And I was like, you know what? I'm about to flip this. So thank y'all.
I
Everybody
love
who, called me that I was extra. I am.
Yep.
And I am. So I'm just embracing that.
Well, it's not a deficit, man, unless you let it be.
That's
Yep.
right.
I mean, they gave you the name right there.
They did. Flip that
You
real
created
quick.
my platform. Thank you. And I'm going to do with it something good.
Absolutely. And that's what we're trying to do. Is trying to be extra in the community.
Yeah.
I love that.
And do whatever it takes to do that. And I'm a confessed shoe head. I was a sneaker head. I'm trying to get all the shoes and everything that I can. And all the fire started happening a few years ago. And like, let's donate some of these shoes. Let's try to get other people to donate shoes, and then we'll try to do it. So Pastor Kobe and I kind of started something, and let's get shoes. We knew Jeff Stevens was going up to the fire victims and that kind of thing. We'll send them. We'll collect them. We'll send them. Got on Facebook to use it for the positive, right? Just reached out and said, hey, if you got shoes, let us know. Gently used, new, whatever, send them up. A couple years go by, and a friend of mine reached out and said, why don't you try that for your birthday? She showed me a little video, and I was turning 52, and I'm like, I'm going to get 52 pair of shoes. This is going to be I don't want to party this year. I want to do that. So my extra is going to be, I'm going to get 52 pair of shoes, and I'm going to donate them out to the community.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to reach out on Facebook, Instagram, and I'm going to use social media for the good versus the bad.
Oh, for sure.
So if you're going to screenshot something and send it, it's going to be something positive. So you're going to screenshot my shoes and send it and call me extra, but it's going to work.
Yeah,
absolutely, man.
Come on, man.
I ended up getting 250 pair of shoes.
Wow.
Then I'm nervous. I'm like, oh,
Let's
man,
go.
what I'm going to do? My wife is mad at me. The garage is full of stuff. She's got that side eye.
Babe, I'm being extra.
Yeah, I'm just being extra.
I'm sorry. I'm just being a little
extra. And
extra.
then she just caught it like, I know. And then she jumped in. So she was getting shoes donated to her to give to me.
Yep.
And I sat down with Jeff Stevens for lunch one day, and I was like, I'm gonna keep this going.
Sure, yeah.
Jeff Stevens would Say Love, and he's like, have you ever thought about making that a nonprofit? I said no, but I am now.
Yeah,
thanks for doing that.
Sure.
Shout out to Jeff. I love that,
it.
man. Every time I have a conversation with Jeff, it makes me a better person.
Bingo.
Truly.
And so I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and jump into it and make it a nonprofit. And my other man, Pastor Doug, he's a shoe head too. I'm telling him too.
Oh, yeah.
And so he was one of the first ones to donate shoes to me, and like some heat, brand new ones here and there. And I'm just giving them out. And just what you see from people, the expression that, you know how it is when you get a new pair of shoes, you put them on, you try to try them on and jump up and down a little bit.
Run past the Payless employee in the mall.
You got it. I'm going to try that one day.
I'm pretty sure it makes me faster.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know. You're like, I'm faster.
Oh, I'm faster. These are Sonic shoes, bro.
That's it.
Yep.
That's the feeling that
new shoes.
Like you have.
Did it make you fast?
Yeah.
Yes.
And can I jump out the gym? Absolutely.
Yes. It's the kicks.
You got it. And I used to work at it's a place in Michigan called MC Sporting Goods, but it was just like Big Five.
Yeah.
So I used to give out shoes and let them try them on. And here I am doing that now. And the same, have a seat, try them on. No, these don't work for you. All right, let me get this. Yep. So all of those donated shoes, we're able to get on feet.
Yeah.
And so our homeless community, shoes is a big deal.
Absolutely, man.
And 2 weeks, 3 weeks tops.
Yeah.
Because they're wearing them out. They're walking everywhere.
Yeah.
And so I'm learning as I'm out there.
Wow.
And I'm seeing what it looks like. And my eyes simply straight go down the feet. And that's what we used to do anyway, right? Like, ooh, what kind of Jordans you got on?
Oh, yeah.
So now I'm kind of doing it in reverse. Hey, man, let me get you taken care of. Hey, young lady, what size shoe do you wear? And so I just keep getting shoes donated to me. We get funds donated to us. And then in turn,
buy the shoes.
Buy the shoes.
Man, that's so
and be
good.
super specific about it. So if you wear a 10, I want to make sure you get a 10 versus an 11, because that's where some of the trash in our community comes from. They're just trying to get to point A to point B, and if it ain't specific, they'll just toss them.
Yeah, so, definitely.
That's where Be Extra came from, and had to find a way to fund it. And so donations is one, and then I started the photo booth and the 360 photo booth. That's where I was saying 360 was going to come in.
Sure.
And that's how I fund it. So you book an event with us.
Yeah.
So your money's going back out to the community again, because
that's so good, man.
Before I was doing that, my wife was giving me that side eye again. Yeah, that's nice and all, but you buying shoes for how many people?
Yeah.
I had to clean
Things that up quick.
Yeah, I had to clean that up. So and it's working.
And I mean, not only did I see the photo booth at Hope Point for Trunk or Treat, I also saw videos on Halloween. Did you have that set up for like people that are walking up to your house to get candy?
I did. I had the regular photo booth. So instead of trick or treating just with candy, I'm like, you know what? That's extra.
That's awesome.
That's so good.
Hearing like, oh, this is the best house on the block. I'm like, yes,
that's what I want.
That's it. I want the best candy and then the best experience. So that's how we do it.
You know, it's crazy. It's like you were saying, you're like, I worked at this shoe shop, right? Mm-hmm. I think that in life we're given, we don't realize all the opportunities we're given.
Absolutely.
And if we take them
and picking up along the way.
Absolutely.
And then what we learn along the way is never wasted. There's times in my life I may look back and be like, man, I feel like I wasted so much of my time. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm using that now in a way I never thought I'd use it before.
Yes.
And I think it's easy for us to look at like we've wasted time. Mm-hmm. I mean, how often do you have conversations with people? Man, this year I'm going to get better at not wasting my time. I wasted my time doing this. No, you didn't. You were investing it into something that you can't see right now.
100%.
You know,
and hindsight's wonderful, But if you don't have the opportunity to see it in hindsight yet, when it's live, it looks like a waste of time. It's like, give it some time. It will make sense why you walked through that.
Absolutely.
Or while you were at that employer or in that employment or that job that you didn't love.
Yeah.
Give it time. Eventually, it will make sense why you were there from a relational standpoint or something you picked up along the way.
Well, you'll learn something. And if you learn nothing from the journey that you were on,
something's wrong.
Life is going to hit you even more, and you're going to learn it eventually.
Well, you got some more lessons to learn.
You
got some more lessons.
It's going to coach you.
Absolutely.
Here all week, folks.
The lessons may sting a little bit more than that employment.
Absolutely, man. That's so photography. So you do you set up the photo booths?
Yep.
Aerial photography.
Yes, drone. I'm a nerd by trade as well. So
that's why we're friends.
That's right. When I came in here, I'm like, look at this setup. I had to take a couple pictures, but that's it. Drone it's fun to me. It's relaxing.
Yeah.
You get up, you get a whole different view of everything, and again, that's why I talk about 360. That's life, right?
Oh yeah.
Let's get a whole different view.
Perspective.
Perspective. Let's get a different perspective and just jump in. So if it's real estate, jumping in and you get a whole different perspective of the property.
Sure.
If it's an event, then I start getting into the drones where I'm flying through places and that kind of thing. So the super nerd in me came from there. But you just get a whole different look when it comes through it. And then now I'm able to put that back into the community. That helps fund these shoes.
And to speak to that, it was Brian's aerial shot when we were when Spark was out and volunteering with the food bank and on a distribution drive.
Sure.
I think this is the distribution drive right before Thanksgiving in November.
Right there.
He went way up above Kmart and got this shot, and that was so impactful.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
hugely impactful.
I saw the picture.
Seeing that shot where you see the cars light up from behind Kmart to up against the gym to all the way down whatever the little side street is, up and down Gray. I was like rolling in and seeing them from this level is one thing. And then you see that, and then they're too wide. I was just like, oh my gosh, the need is great.
Yeah, absolutely,
the need is great, and that gave us such an incredible perspective. And that right there, that shot that you got was hugely impactful because when people saw it, they shared it. That brought more eyes to different ways for people to plug in from a volunteering standpoint. So, man.
Right, and that's why I got it. I'm like, look, I want y'all to see what you guys are doing, what Spark was doing, what the food bank was doing, just a little clip to show you how impactful it was. So that was actually just for you guys. And when editing came out, I'm like, bam, that's it.
Well, it's amazing how when you're in the trenches, you're doing work, you're passing out shoes, you're feeding people, whatever you're doing, all of a sudden you get to the end of it and you're like, whew, okay, we're done, and you move on. You don't even see what you've done. You're excited that you got to do it. And then when that perspective shift comes in, it's like, look what you actually were doing.
Correct.
It's like, oh my God.
There's nothing better that I could have done with my time
Absolutely.
than be there that morning.
Right, because time is more important than money.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I had it wrong for so long.
Amen.
So apologies to my older kids. I had it wrong. I got to make money. I got to be at work and kind of get you set. But it was the flip of it where it's time. That was the most important part of it. And that's what I'm trying to get the message out to everyone. Why waste your time on anything that you do? So
what's the
It's currency.
Yeah, I was going to say it's how you see as what success is. We've said that money is success for years. I mean, it was you rolling up in the Bentley. It's you having the nice clothes, the shoes, the limos. That was it. That was success. And now we're starting to see people getting that and going, I'm not happy.
Oh yeah.
And they're like,
I will take a pay reduction to have the time freedom.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so now it's like, I was listening to a guy talking about investments, and he said, if you have your time freed up to spend time with your kids, you've done it. You've arrived.
100%.
Because it doesn't matter how much money you have, you'll never replace those moments you have with your kids. 100%. You'll never replace those basketball games. You'll never replace those plays or whatever your kids are doing.
Whatever it is.
You can't.
Yeah.
And I think that shift in perspective, and I think that shows a lot of why people are so frustrated in their own jobs, going, I'm working 40 hours a work week and this is what I get, and I'm missing out on this.
Yeah.
And I think that creates that anxiety.
Absolutely.
But then that structure, right, that coach structure of being like, this is what I got to do this. And when everything's lined up properly, you can make the right decisions. But if you don't got a coach, you don't got somebody coming beside you, showing you that shift of perspective, showing you that what you're doing, what really matters, and that conviction doesn't change, it doesn't matter.
Man, you got my 360 all the way down, man.
Man.
Everything means something. It's coming around.
I love that.
I got to get you a T-shirt.
I'll wear it. I'll wear it proud.
from a perspective standpoint, when we're talking perspective, we're talking about time. There's, I mean, is there anything else? When people talk about money, you talk about spending money.
Yeah.
Is there another currency that when they use the word spend, they say spend time.
Yep.
So if they say spend money and spend time, it forces you to place value on it.
Yes.
You don't use the word spend freely or in happenstance or any other. You talk about spending when it's a currency, when there's a dollar exchange for value. So if you're talking about spending time, is there anything more important? I don't think there is.
No.
And that's from the perspective of a father with a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 4-month-old. There's just the paradigm shift. Now that we have Bodhi, now that we have our third baby at the house, there has been this shift in me to work harder but work more efficiently.
Yes.
So I can be more wise with my time and get home as soon as I can, because I know that I'm going to friggin' blink and my kids are all going to be in high school and then they're all going to be in college, and I'm going to look back. What I'm doing now is I am forcing myself to be present.
Yes.
Yeah.
Forcing myself to be present.
Yes.
Because I know that there is no better thing that I can be right now than present, and to be home and just love on those kids. I missed every Tuesday. The local, realtors and lenders come together Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. meeting. I missed it yesterday because Beckham, my 4-year-old, he got out of bed at probably 2 or 3 in the morning and came in and snuck in right there between Hannah and I. My alarm went off at 7:30. I had every reason to go and be at that meeting. But my son was cradled up against my back like a shell on a turtle, and there was nothing that was going to get me to get out of that bed. No, so I literally probably laid there for just like 40 minutes and just cuddled him, and I'm like, this is exactly where I need to be right now. Absolutely. There is no meeting more important than this one.
Yeah, you got it. That's the formula right there. And like I said, I've been a father in many different decades, so to speak. And like I said, with my older kids, I thought it was, I got to get the money. So I got 3 jobs and going to school at the same time. So I'm looking at that as success, So if it's daddy-daughter dances, I'm missing that one. Like, man, now that I look back at it, like if I had that to do all over again, I would flip it. I'm still loving them. That's the whole thing. Absolutely. For love and doing it.
Yeah, never going to stop.
Right. But back then, and I think it was a societal thing that the dad went earn money, go do that, and then that's success of it. I don't care if you're tired at the end of the day and don't have time. That's it. But it flips now. And so now, like you said, that is more important than anything pretty much. Like, how do you get that back? You don't. So that's perfect. So that's what I'm learning now. And that's what I'm definitely trying to get out and be transparent to other young fathers or soon to be fathers is flip it. Don't do what we did back in our day because it's wrong.
Well, it's the power. It's also the power of your words.
Oh,
I noticed that if I say something, how I say it is how I feel about it. And if I keep saying it, I believe what I'm saying. And then all of a sudden, someone's like, someone else will, say it's a story, and someone else will recollect the same story. Like, no, that's a lie. That actually didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, no, it happened this way because I've convinced myself to be the truth. And that's the societal thing, right? That's where we think, I'm going to be successful. I have to do this. Even in relationships,
good point.
I'm going to be happy or this person made me mad. It's their fault. No, hold on. Stop blaming. The situation itself sucked. There's a no-win in this.
Yeah.
This is a no-win for anybody. It's not about you. It's not about them. It's about your relationship. And the relationship's the most valuable asset out of this whole conundrum.
Yeah.
Right? Stop giving up in 5 seconds because it's uncomfortable. Have that hard conversation.
Yeah.
And the more I've seen that, and the more that even in my conversations with people, I'm shifting that. Go, no. Well, my wife. No, you love your wife. Well, I do. Then say it that way.
Yeah.
Me and my wife are having a disagreement. I love her. She's amazing. We're disagreeing on X. Let the X be the problem, not your wife be the problem.
Correct.
Let the X be, I don't have enough X and I need to fulfill that.
Yeah.
But it can't blame people.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you go down that road, you start that twist, it's game over. Now you're the victim.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now everybody else is your problem, and that's a lonely existence to have.
Correct.
And that's why you need a coach. You know what I mean?
That's the whole thing. And I've been kind of working on something right now, a post to put on Facebook or whatever about anger.
Yeah.
About being mad. Why is anger our first response to whatever it is? Something we don't understand or something that is not in our wheelhouse. We get mad first and try to do it. And when we get angry, we say those words. We can't take those back.
Nope.
Yeah.
And then, Pastor Doug says all the time, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. No, that's wrong. Hit me with a rock, hit me with that stick, and get those words taken back. So you hit it right there. So change that.
No, it's powerful. And I think that's the part of, coaching, but being a dad, the masculine role model, a good masculine role model that comes in with the empathy and compassion and going, hey, look, you did make a mistake.
Yeah.
You are held to this standard and you're going to have to live with those, the repercussions of your actions, but you have these opportunities to fix it.
Correct.
You have this potential to go, I'm sorry for what I did in X. This is what happened. I will try and resolve that.
100%.
You have the potential to make that change.
Accountability.
And I think that everything is in that place of how can we hold each other accountable.
Amen.
Imagine if you had a basketball player.
Correct.
And he was just like, no, man, I'm going to shoot it this way. And you're like, dude, your form's off. You're not arching your arm the right way. You guide it a little bit better. You'll make your 3-pointer. He's like, no, that's fine.
No, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And you're not going to play him.
You got it. Got it.
You're not going to play him.
Correct. And then it's the coach's fault and all of that. But that's what I say right there. And again, I don't bring it in anger because of course it's the coach's fault. Everybody does it that way. But I got to present it in a way like if you do the stuff, you change your shot. Change your work ethic and do the stuff before I get to you. Just imagine where you become. Anybody that's in the NBA or college basketball right now, they did stuff when the coach wasn't there. Right?
Absolutely.
It's all the stuff that's doing everything else that when the coach isn't watching. So when the coach is there, okay, you got it. So you can steer in one direction or you can kind of go in the other. Still love you though, but it just changes.
You're saying those athletes needed to be a little extra? Is that what you're saying,
Extra.
Oh, what you're saying?
360, baby. 360. Be extra.
So let's dreamcast, man. What would Be Extra is going? It's rocking. You're taking the pictures. What is what's a 2-year, 3-year, 5-year? What's something?
Great question.
Because if there's any way, if somebody hears this and they want to help you get to that point, let's escalate that thing.
So actually this year I'm jumping strong in the 2024 year to push this. So again,
perfect.
Great question. Y'all know Coach Whitaker. He donated $1,000 to 5 nonprofits, and one was me to start. So I want to use that to make this thing mobile. So I want a van or a old school bus or an old ice cream truck, and make it extra.
That'd be awesome, man.
And then
with just some really, really like dope music playing from it.
Playing from it is wrapped.
Oh man, yes, please.
You get it.
Go.
Old McDonald can take a break.
You got it. It's super extra.
But I can like hear it coming down the road. Like it starts with the dun-dun-dun, and then it's like the beat drops. And it was like, what is that?
Exactly.
Oh man.
And it's shoes in the back. You know what I mean? We got a little hole in the window. And we're handing out shoes at parks, Kmart parking lot. We're going where the need is with shoes that are donated from the community. That's my goal.
Imagine that, just to help with that dream. Imagine that your mobile van, truck, call what you will, that will be happening. I'm not saying if it does.
It's gonna
when it does.
Totally gonna
forecast that, fellas.
Having that right there parked up against all of the volunteers at the food bank, to where as that individual drives away, right there, just like a couple weeks ago, right before Christmas, at our distribution drive behind Kmart, I think Rosser's Christmas tree donated over 100 Christmas trees.
Wow. That's amazing.
And they were right there. So the families that were coming in for food, they were able to leave with a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Now to be able to partner up and be like, hey, man, how's your day going? By the way, Brian Davis and Be Extras is up there. If anybody in your household needs shoes, they'll be able to help fill that need. That's incredible.
Got it.
Dude,
Let's go.
Maybe I'm forecasting this.
Forecast it, baby.
Think, bro,
this is a safe space, man. Speak it into existence, baby.
Have you heard about those Amazon crates that they have? Like you can get like a blank box of whatnot, and you can pick clothing or whatever, and you pay X. I don't know, man. I think that there should be a reach out to Amazon and see if they got extra shoes that someone sent back that they don't need. And you can get on that vendor list, buddy. You would be able to bless so many people with the business structure that you have, and you genuinely being extra and making sure they're taken care of. I just think that would crush it. So I'm throwing that out there.
Connect me. Let's go, Amazon.
Just throwing it.
Or Amazon-ish.
Exactly.
Mr. Bezos, I'm going to need you to reach out to...
Call me.
Any AI bot watching this, you need to
got
reach out to Jeff Bezos. Let him know my man Ryan Davis needs
Give him a shout. How does somebody, Brian, get a hold of you from a photography standpoint, or they want to collaborate with you from a Be Extra standpoint?
Sure.
What is the best way for somebody that's watching to reach out to you?
Super easy. BeExtra.org. Come to BeExtra.org. We got everything covered, from donations, from booking spin booths. Informations are right there. Kind of explanation exactly what we do, kind of what I just told you fellas on there. Even where we might be at from time to time.
Sure.
BeExtra.org has everything right there for you. One-stop shopping.
Awesome. And then right now, as it sits actively, are there any kind of donation drives or anything going on? Is there ever an active push, like, hey, we need this many shoes by this time? Or is it always kind of when you have extra shoes that you are willing to donate, you can reach out to us? Is there any kind of clothing, or not so much clothing, but shoe drives going on actively?
Both, actually, because every Friday I go to Motor Park in Marysville, and that's where I hand out shoes.
Yeah,
every Friday, rain or shine, at noon, handing out shoes.
That's awesome.
Love that.
So,
and then they have the continuity of knowing where you're going to be at what time. That's
knowing
huge.
we're going to be.
Huge.
The shelters are right over there.
Yep.
Everyone knows to come. There's Lincoln and Ann. They bring a meal down from the hills. There's a meal there every day, hot meal, ready to go.
Yeah.
Come on.
And we're there with shoes in the trunk, ready to set. So, to answer your question, yes, it's a continuous drive going on, and I'm getting ready for my big push because my birthday's in March. So instead of 52,
right here,
I'm going
man.
for 53.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
53 pair, and kind of seeing where it's going.
I think it'll happen.
It's there. So I'm trying to fill up my shelves over, because I got a headquarters in Marysville and next home building over there, and I got shelves. So I'm emptying them right now. Everything's given out, but I want to fill those shelves up and then be ready for the next big push.
I love it.
That's amazing.
I love it.
Super easy.
Man, from father to husband to coach to activist to Be Extra to nonprofit to volunteering. You're the man, dude.
Man, you're making me sound good.
Dude,
but
I love you.
I love y'all.
I'm so happy.
I'm so proud of what y'all are doing too, man.
We appreciate it. Our goal in this is to just love on people and bring more attention to people that need more attention. And I think just this platform, I think this is episode 9. No, 10.
10 or 11.
This is like a monumental one if it's 10.
That's it, my man.
Let's go. Episode 10. I'm so happy you made the time for this morning.
This is perfect.
And I think this is just going to continue to help get your message out there. So if you're watching, if you're listening, reach out to Brian or reach out to us. And let's continue to help Be Extra gain as much momentum as they've already had.
Jump on, everybody. Come on in.
BeExtra.org. I'm going to put it in the bottom. That way you guys can link straight to it. If you're liking it, hit that bell, hit the subscribe button. Go and follow us on Facebook, on Instagram. If you need any loans or anything amazing from my good man, Cameron Elkins, Field Mortgage.
Go get it done.
And if you need to get caffeinated, steelhousecoffee.com.
Yes, sir.
Going. So
that's right.
Support those that are supporting the community.
That's right.
And we will catch you on the next one.
All right.
We will. Later,
Wonderful
guys.
job, gentlemen.
Thank you for checking out the Cam and Joe Show.
If you guys are liking our content so far, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can also listen to us on Spotify.